Call the meeting to order at 6:36 on Monday, October 2nd. And I don't think we need to vote on that. Members, what's that?
What time was that?
6:36, October 2nd, Monday, 2023. Members present.
Mary Anastasia.
Courtney Boudreau.
John Regan.
David Broll.
Mark Sand.
Cindy Courier, liaison from the COA.
Reading the previous minutes, review and vote to approve the minutes. Did everyone get a chance to read them?
I did not.
I know
Do you
people
want to look
did.
at it real quick?
Yeah,
Oh, if you have a
Come
print,
to
yeah.
you.
I have a copy.
The important thing is, did I spell your name correctly?
That, I have a hard time spelling my name, so.
Wait today?
Yesterday, or the day
Oh,
before.
yeah.
Mark said,
Yes.
sorry for,
That's my biggest concern
spelling the names.
of Mary's.
No, it's spelled correctly.
Sometimes I think he puts little things in just to check us.
To
Yeah,
trick you.
Yeah. And it'd be like, painted lines have weird curves, and we'd all like, yeah. And he said, gotcha. Everyone good with the previous meetings? Any problems with them? Name spelled correctly?
Names are spelled correctly.
All right, let's vote to approve. All in favor?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, approved. Correspondence or new residence request.
I have something to add to that. So, Mariah Lucy emailed me. She was trying to go onto my rec to, let's see, I'm going back to it. Hi, how would we, Triton Soccer, go about using the concession stand for youth games in October? I'm in the request site, but I would not be purchasing insurance. So I ultimately with some back and forth and then sending it over to David and then policy review. I'm not exactly sure if that is okay to be done, slash if what the fee would be, that kind of thing. David, she asked for your number. I don't know, she said she used to be on the rec committee a long time ago, I guess.
Yep, I know her.
Anyway, so I told her we're having a meeting tonight if she wanted to stop by.
Okay.
To that, I did reach out because I didn't see any more correspondence from her to her, asking her to submit an application so we can have that discussion. There is a little confusion as to if it's through Triton Youth Soccer versus Triton Regional School System Soccer or another program. So sometimes the specifics are and the nuances are important. Typically there isn't a fee, particularly if it's for one of our permitted holders. The whole idea was to encourage them to use it to sell small things, foods, and raise money for their organization. They would have to go through the Board of Health to make sure what they're selling meets certain standards. In other words, if they're using, for example, the Board of Health in Gloucester, if you use a cooler and you have things that need to be refrigerated, she'll come back with a thermometer and make sure that the meats are staying cold. Typically, it's sodas and prepackaged food, so it's not much of an issue. I did relay to her to contact what the boosters do at Triton Stadium and see what type of permits they are requesting. But the important thing is to submit something to us so that we can act.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't ultimately submit anything. It sounds like her original hang up why she emailed me in the first place was that she would not be purchasing insurance, but I didn't I mean, she didn't complete a request for the field house or whatever.
One of the reasons we had it set up the way it was is if Triton Youth Soccer was the sponsor, they've already submitted their binder, which would cover them. So it would be a continuation of what they're involved in. So I don't know. Or we need to maybe look deeper to see if there's any other requests. Because I'm thinking back with the binders, they typically, I don't know, lacrosse specifically, it's during games and practices, so maybe they're not covered. So we need to investigate that.
Well, but she wanted it for October.
It sounds like it,
Yeah.
yes. For youth games in October.
Yeah.
So I mean, she just said Triton Soccer, I'm assuming for youth games it's, the TYS, but.
It was brought to my attention from another parent, because they had a similar type of request, that they're talking to the purveyor that the select board approved that sells coffee.
Yeah.
That they're gonna tie into that existing agreement.
See, I don't think she can still sell food. I don't think she can sell food still. Have you gotten a coffee there?
When she first started there.
Yeah.
But I heard a rumor that she was going before the select board to get some kind of a permit to sell
Yeah.
food. But I don't know
And
if
that-
it was like,
And here's, we're sort of deviating, but it's also part of what I've been trying to say before, is I was at one point under the assumption that 81 Central Street was under our purview. It was brought to my attention that the parking lot is really under the select board purview.
Was that
That was-
confirmed by Tracy?
Is it the parking lot, or is it,
This is the confusion that is,
or are we talking about the
Arise.
coffee thing?
we're
She's
talking
in
about.
Because the coffee would be in the parking lot.
It was stated here that all we were doing was ensuring that there was no conflict with that truck. Because originally, there was no application to us. There was just a, hey, can you approve this? And when we sought clarification, it was brought to our attention that it was an approval of it, that it was a select board, and it was to ensure there'd be no conflict of time schedules and that. So I think it's, we need to get clarification about jurisdiction overall.
I sent the email today to Tracy, this morning, about that exact thing.
Yeah.
So, we'll find out. She's, she didn't get back to me today. I saw something, but it was gone.
Yeah, because I rewatched it was on March 6th.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, that we put it in. Yeah, I saw that, because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't remember that, but yeah, I did.
And what happened?
We agreed, we approved, it was
So-
brought up, you brought it up that she wanted to use it. We voted on it, we agreed.
She
that
had a
could use
permit for the weekend for the spring, to sell coffee during the spring.
Spring.
That was the
During
permit.
that season, spring season,
Correct.
not necessarily extending through the summer. And again,
Right, and whether or not that shifts,
it's not
and that's fine,
automatically.
but what we discussed as a
Yeah.
committee was, it's for spring, it's for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. There was discussion about placement of the
Trailer.
trailer.
Yeah.
So it was, which is fine. But it was my understanding that there was some sort of permit that was brought before us, but I didn't see it, I don't know, I'm just going.
What was the date of that one, Mark? I'll go
It was
back.
March 6th.
Yeah.
Because I believe that was where it was stated that,
Yeah, that she had some permit,
she had to get some permits from the Board of Health about serving foods.
correct. And she had to go before the select board.
Right.
So it was a double or a triple?
So that, again, that leaves confusion, because at one point we approved
Yep.
Yeah.
for the buses.
So it was to operate her portable coffee trailer on weekends at the Central Street parking lot, provided that the business has appropriate permits from the Board of Health and applicable agencies.
We did, when we did the policy years ago about using the field house for concessions, I think
Mhm.
that's in our purview, right?
Yeah.
And it-
Field
and-
house.
Yeah, field house, and that's what she's asking for, correct?
The trained soccer person,
Yeah,
it sounds like, I mean, she just said concessions.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
we call in that area, is the
Specify.
concession.
I think she
area.
was involved actually with that, when we were working on that document.
Yeah, well, and we just reapproved it
Yep.
in April.
Yep.
And it does say parking lot.
It says it in the top left-hand corner, and on the right-hand side, it says. what was it?
Field house.
Field house. So it should be, because that's what they approved, but,
It says like $10 an hour
well, if you, when I
in
look
that
at.
column.
Right, but the way I'm looking at it, well,
Yeah, I thought when we approved it, we had a fee associated with that, but it was a while ago, so,
the field house,
It says parking lot and field house.
yeah.
okay.
I think we did a minimal fee.
Yeah.
Um,
$10 an hour
Yeah.
or
So
five
yes, yeah,
for group A, group B is $25 an hour.
this, from where I'm looking at it, this was to be for the fields. Because if you're Group C and you want it for a weekend to pay $3,000 for a parking lot, that was for the fields. So this whole set, because you know, there is a typo here, because that was for the fields. Because otherwise, we'd have to revert back to a different document for the fields. So if you go to Group D, you're telling me that for the field house for Group D, it's $2,000 a day.
I'm not telling you anything.
You know, I
I'm just
know
telling
you're
you
not.
what
I know.
the- I'm
I'm
just
looking
telling
at
what the
this.
policy says.
This should have read for the field. Because that's what we charge for the field, because it says at the bottom, $5 an hour for fields,
Right.
5A and 5B. This was for the field, so I don't know how something got cut off.
It might have, but
It might just be a typo, but I thought that at one point there was a fee.
actually, John, you're looking at a different policy. And maybe this is part of the confusion too. There's two policies that we have up on the website.
Yes.
One's the playing field and faculties policy from 2017, and then there's a Central Street recreational from
Yes.
23.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is confusing, one of the two.
yes, two, so.
So I'm looking at the 2023,
Okay.
and there is some that says parking lot.
Yeah.
It says, yeah, but
I think that's a typo. We probably have to,
amend.
yep,
Because at one point, we shouldn't be having the two up there, but I've asked for review
Is it different amount?
to take it
This
down.
one doesn't, it's the other policy, playing field and facility permit policy, it actually, I do not see expressly stated rates like this one has. They're similar,
yeah, we updated it.
Well,
yeah, so I
Yeah, but we
would have
updated the
thought
rates.
that this almost replaced
supersedes it.
Yep.
The other one is
Yep.
2019,
17,
17. And the most recent one was 2023.
23, April.
So that would supersede it. And if, what happened was the 2017 was merged, because we had stuff for the fields,
Right.
and then we were adding stuff for the community basketball court, and more
Basketball.
importantly, the field house. We merged the two documents. So this first one should have been eliminated because the regulations are different. And I've asked Matt, the IT person, a while ago to remove it, because one could pull up the old one,
Which.
which would
Yeah,
still
there
be
are
a
two
legal
different-
document, and we'd
right.
have to follow that if they so chose to
Right.
enforce it.
Yeah, there are two different tabs.
Yeah,
Matt is no longer with us,
There's a
right?
new,
Correct.
yeah,
Okay.
there's a new IT director, I think it's John.
John? Have you dealt with John?
I haven't, I only dealt with that.
he's working on a problem with me.
Okay.
I mean, not that I'm the problem. My therapist has got that taken care of, thank you.
Okay,
But yeah, it is confusing because there are two different ones at the same
yeah,
venue.
as far as Mariah goes, if it's Triton Youth Soccer,
Mm-hmm.
if it's TYS, right, I think that's what it is, then isn't it something that we can approve and send it off to the select board?
Well, see, here's the question. When this was written, there was never I don't remember a conversation that after it goes to us, it goes to the select board. It was to us, because we have responsibility for that building. And then we, you know, part of our language would be make sure you have the necessary permits, whether it's business permits, health permits, whatever.
Yeah,
Because it's not our job to enforce all those rules.
Right.
We're saying to them, you do this part, you can use it, provided you do your business aspect of it. But I don't remember ever having that conversation with it.
yeah, there's definitely and/or select board in this, health committee, health, board of health and/or select board. With the approval of select board and recreation committee. And it's a concession, sorry, that's the operator.
That's the operator, and that's just the.
Yep, which made sense at that time,
Well, the operator was if somebody was to come
and
in,
make money, yeah,
yeah,
profit.
to say, we're gonna rent it out for the season.
Yep.
And we control it.
Yep.
Procurement process.
So I guess what we should probably do is wait for her to come in or get in touch with us and find out what they wanna sell and do, because if it's cans of Coke or whatever.
But
that's-
that means that it'll be November and she wants it for this month.
More importantly, if there's, you know, it's almost like an alpha test. Any hiccups we have, let's get it done now, it's a shortened season, so that when anybody wants to use in the spring, we are better prepared to deal with any questions they have.
Right. So she said, hi, I can stop by. I can try to stop by. My son has a game. I can bring him home. Maybe I can come in after that. So I don't know if she'll end up showing.
So why don't we just put this one on hold right now, that question, towards the end of the meeting, and we can, if she shows up, then we at least have, we can.
So can we suspend this conversation for later?
Yeah, let's make a motion to suspend Mariah Lucy's request to use the concessions until later in the meeting. A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right. I don't know if that's being the other, so like going right in and saying that and listening to people, but yeah.
Okay, and also in the correspondence was the new resident. We got an email from the executive administrator that a new resident had called, looking for recreation activities for her young children.
That's right.
I spoke to the woman, she's coming from a larger town that has a rec department that sponsors a number of their own activities that we are not equipped to do at this point in time. I did direct her to some of the youth programs as well as our library for activities. But we may want to start looking down the road. I know with another town I've worked with, we had a welcome package. So when people come into town, there's a basket of welcoming. Here is the youth groups, here is the pond that's available to you, here's something.
Yeah,
But
in that same framework, we could do, and just, the welcoming list, but then also do like a trail list and all that kind of stuff where new people come to town.
Mm-hmm.
We have, okay, for kids, they do try to use soccer, blah, 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 blah. And then, we have the fields that are available, and then we can give you recreational uses by all the, I've seen that before in other places where they state all the different areas that people can walk in.
So it's sort of like a council on aging for
Yeah,
people new to the
yeah,
community.
just to give them a welcome and what the town, what we have as far as, it may not be our privy to tell them to walk on certain trails, but at least we can say they are there to walk on. All right. Bills and claims.
So we had, oh my gosh, the sport the pickleball lines.
Sport court,
Sport court, that's it, I was like, sport court.
sport court.
Yeah, so, that bill came in, however, I need a W-9,
Yeah, I emailed him today,
Okay.
he didn't get back to me, but,
yeah. So, in order to set up a new vendor,
yep.
we need a W-9.
Yep.
If it was an amount that was probably $50, it would be different, it's
Okay.
2,000.
Yeah, they did do the
I
original
was gonna say,
work,
they
so-
did the original courts, right?
Yeah, that's
Under
right.
sport court?
No, they did through, they were probably a sub under Vermont.
Right.
Recreation.
So there was nothing under sport
Okay.
court,
Okay.
if I can, I guess if we can pay them under a different name.
Yeah, no, they were
I
definitely,
would
at
think
that part,
not.
it was Vermont Recreation or Vermont Landscaping, something like that.
Vermont something.
Yeah, Vermont something. I think it was landscaping, which kind of threw us off as well.
Yes, it was landscaping, because I
Yeah.
remember seeing that bill
Yep.
last year. And I was like,
All right.
"What is this for?"
So.
And then just mellow.
Yep.
But I would think Townsend will be coming up with regards to heat.
Water.
And water, of course.
Quarterly.
The other question that I had is, in the springtime, we had a pumping of the
Septic?
septic. Do we have a cadence for that? Is that like?
I think the,
fall? Is that?
DPW did that. I don't know what the total is and what,
No, that's been paid from last year.
Do you know what the total was?
I'm just wondering, I don't.
okay, all right,
Mate, I might, hold please.
I was under the impression DPW was picking that up.
yeah. I don't know if they billed us. I didn't remember hearing a bill about that.
More importantly, it's the cadence of the,
Yeah, how often?
yes, cause I think you went there and there was
Yeah.
some sort of,
Yeah, so.
catalyst, which seems to have been a pretty busy
Yep.
summer. Is that something that we need to,
That'll be up to DPW, whether they need, cause they'll know what the total was. And then they can tell by their, how often to pump. But I will put a note and, ask them if they want us to give them a heads up, or they're gonna do it on a normal basis.
okay.
Is that it on bills and claims?
Yes, those were the questions that I had.
All right, old business, update to each previous meeting. Update on pickleball, including additional time reserved for families and tournaments.
So, all right. One thing I'd like to do, and I would say it's never been done before, is I had the thought of setting up a time for Saturday morning, specifically because soccer and lacrosse would be there. And if people wander over, it'd be more back to that like exhibition thing. And use that as a start. Part two might be to actually like put a flyer in the post office and town hall kind of thing. That is going on. I can staff it. It's what we do with Cindy. It's just you show up, you put the nets up, you get the balls out. If someone new shows up, you show them what to do. And I thought that might just be exposure as opposed to a big article in Newburyport paper or something like that, but, pickleball arrives, because I'm not quite sure we're ready for that.
Would that be sort of a family,
I
open to all?
I think it's just gonna be, drop in, and maybe seat it with like 8 players, or, so we'd be there, and if someone came over, you could, again, just greet, and this is what it feels like. And we do it all the time, in counseling, with the Council on Aging, it happens every week. So it's kind of an interesting wrap, and it's, the only thing I think that's new is, it's the rec department actually having a recreation program with a recreation board member, and I'll gladly walk that gangplank.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea okay, great idea. I think we should move forward with it as a intro to pickleball type, where you just say, courts are available for.
Yeah.
So I guess the other question is, should we reserve on the, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna have to reserve on my rec. It will be continuing like every Saturday, or will it just be one Saturday to start?
No, I think, until the weather turns, or probably to the end of soccer season, let's put it that way. But do they play second week in November, or?
Pretty much done by then.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, there's some people that are always looking for a game.
Okay.
There's a big game in Georgetown that's pretty busy on Saturday mornings, and if we can draw some of those people.
Do we need to acquire more paddles?
I'd say no.
Okay.
There's 6, 8,
8, I think.
That should,
yeah.
are you
And
looking
most
at?
people bring their own, so if you had your people there.
Yeah.
They'll probably have
yeah.
their own equipment, and then you'd have
And
the
again,
panels.
the people that are there, it's old hats. If someone shows up, you know, with some newbies, and
Yeah.
it really, we're trained at this point, we're trained to.
So what time are you looking for? Pick a time, couple hours?
When does soccer change? That thought occurred to me today. Is it like on the hour, or?
Well, they just haven't booked from 9 to 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your schedule, they just don't know when they make that reservation.
I'm just thinking like parking wise, because that will be an issue on Saturdays, I'm sure.
Always is.
Yeah. And if we could catch, like, if it lasts an hour, then,
Yeah, what
Probably
they try
then.
to do with most of the sports is book 2 or 3 games back to back. I don't know what the regs are now for lacrosse or soccer, but it used to be like a half an hour between games. So you end one game, you have a half an hour till the next game starts.
oh, that's fantastic. So people are wandering around having nothing to do.
Well, that way,
Yeah.
one set of teams can leave, the other one can come on.
Gotcha.
Sometimes they're
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
back.
Yeah. So yes, if we want to put in, I'd say actually 9, that court can still be a little dewy. So maybe like 9:30 to 11:30.
9:30, 11:30?
And then it looks like they run through soccer's last Saturday, the 4th of November, and then nobody has.
Oh, so it's only gonna be a couple weeks, because I'm out of town till the 16th, I think. So it would be probably just 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks.
Well, do we need to stop it when soccer does? Because I think there's other people who want to go up there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know what, and maybe that's just, why don't we, when did went through the end of November? Why don't we just go through the end of November?
Right,
Yeah.
because at least then you can like draw on a couple soccer days
Yeah,
and then.
yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, at least you have the permit, and you can say, you know, we have to, and kick those basketball junkies off.
Well, that's another thing I'm curious about. And totally off subject, the court has some pock marks in it, and I'm wondering if the kids run on there with their cleats. Have you ever noticed?
Huh, I have not, I've not.
I have. I've seen them.
There's a bunch of them today. We were just over there today, and it was like, wow. And they're either stepping on a rock, and it's actually collapsing the plastic.
Huh, okay.
So
We've
there's
had
a
problems with-
sign there with basketball rules.
Yeah.
I don't know how we procure that. That would be my item too, is how do we make a basketball, pickleball rules?
Well, if we have a permit, we have, whoever has the permit has priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but I mean, just like, it's, like,
Like
no
appropriate
swearing, no throwing
yeah,
paddle.
appropriate footwear.
Well, yeah, and again, there was just a wild guess that, you know, maybe it's a cleat, you know, like,
Yeah, we don't know what it is, so we
Yeah.
can't guarantee.
they're by the baskets, so to me, it's someone's playing if that's what it is, if they're jumping up and landing with a cleat, then they might be punching them.
I remember we went to ask for suggested recommendations for the sign. You know, there's a certain level of common sense, people.
Yeah.
But then again, with young,
We
if
could
that
have
is the case with kids, and it's, oh, I got this on.
Yeah, we could have put 50 things on that list and
Right.
things on it.
That's, yeah, well, and they all ignore the first
Yeah.
40.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's just it. All right, well, let's do this. Why don't we get why don't you guys, let's vote on having that time from 9:30 to 11:30 through the end of November. Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion that we reserve one court. Does that make sense? Or do you want to do 2 and have them be able to shoot, or?
I would say two, just
Yeah, I think it's a good
to be
idea.
fair to basketball. And if we're only using one, we're only gonna use one.
Yep.
And if we need, we won't use three unless maybe,
Right, well,
So if you guys just, how about this, if you said, if you took the permit for the court from 9:30 to 11:30, and then, you know, you just, that's yours.
Yeah.
But
And then
you
set
play
up on
two, and then if someone wants to shoot, you can do
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
you guys have
yeah,
the
yeah.
precedence, so that sound like a good idea? Instead of,
and it works. I mean, my wife and I have played when someone was playing basketball. I mean,
Yeah.
it can,
yeah,
in fact, it's good.
You can coexist.
You can coexist, and they're good with getting the balls that roll over there.
awesome.
and the pickleballs tend to go over more than the basketball coming onto yours.
Wow, so that would bring up the windscreen question, but we'll wait for
So,
that.
the motion is the rec committee will reserve the 3 pickleball courts from 9:30 to 11:30 through November on Saturday mornings for use as needed to accommodate any of those who are there. Open to
Yeah.
anybody wanting to.
And I don't wanna say trust me, but if it looks like it's getting out of control, then maybe I'll come back and say we're gonna do a 4 o'clock one too, or, you know, at that point, we're gonna get beyond
Well, I think we need
a
to start.
single volunteer.
start
Yeah, no,
I think we need to.
and like I said, we could put something in town hall, put something in the post office.
Well, what I'm suggesting is January, February, we have a plan for the spring.
Yes, yep,
And that way we have the outreach going, but also everybody is aware of what we have planned, in fact, month by month.
Okay,
Yes.
I second that.
21st would be the first
Um,
real day.
Any more discussion on that? Again, it's November, up to November, from 9:30 to 11:30, basketball courts, slash
Right to the end.
pickleball courts, but that would cover everything.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
the entrance match.
Any other discussion on that?
So match the week that,
Yeah, same stuff.
see what we have theirs.
No,
All in favor?
Ah,
So they have theirs being the first week, oh no, the end, the last.
End of
Approved.
November.
Yeah.
All right, so we're
You're
set?
playing that day.
So do we
It's
want
been cold.
Saturday, the 2nd of December to be
Yeah,
the
Sure,
first?
yeah.
sure.
I'm not,
All right.
yeah. I'm not as dumb as
Make
that.
it-
If it's cold, I'm gonna sit in the dark. I would imagine we'd lose some of the snowbirds too,
Some of them will
at
go.
some point in time, yeah.
So to be clear, it's sort of a revoke, because we moved it from the end of November to December 2nd, to modify the previous agreed upon time slot to extend to December 2nd.
I second the motion.
Agreed.
good.
Great, done.
So in terms of putting in a request, I know, so this is what we
Right,
can
right.
do, use the
Yes,
universal,
yes.
um,
Unfortunately, my rec
Username.
only has the court. It would need pickle 1, pickle 2, and pickle.
No, we're letting you have the court, the whole
Court,
court,
basketball
and then
court.
you have the ability to say, okay, there's only,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and someone can shoot hoops, but you can kick off basketball if you guys are like into it.
I could get my own special slot on Facebook.
so who wants to, what, Mark, do you have, I mean, in theory, we all could log on, right?
Yes.
And reserve the time?
Yes, I believe I sent that information out to everybody from my rec.
Yes, somewhere,
Do you remember the date of that?
probably.
I don't remember
I think
that.
I
I don't
sent
either.
an email.
You've been on other ones? I was on the Wakefield one today. It was pretty interesting.
No, I haven't been on, okay.
Are we ready to move on? Review any permit applications, court, field house, we just talked about that, if any. Address concerns with my rec, unable to hold space if another applicant has submitted application. Have you had any luck with that?
It has not come up since the
Football
football
thing.
thing, so I have not had another opportunity to discuss
Okay.
if that has been, I talked to somebody when, like, right after that happened.
I thought they said there wasn't a way to do it, or no?
No, they said it shouldn't be,
Shouldn't do it.
it shouldn't be doing that,
Okay.
it shouldn't be,
Okay, we'll
Keeping
try
one.
to test it out. I'll put something on my rec for the course and try to
So,
come back
double
in
check.
under a different username and see if I can do that.
Yeah, maybe if like the rec committee one could request the basketball court for the Saturdays, and then
Yeah.
like if you had your own personal one, request it and see what
Right.
happens.
Uh,
I do not have any more requests
Okay.
other than the pickleball that we talked about.
Master plan proposal update. Tracy asked me how it was going, and I said I thought that I had talked to Chris, and Chris was gonna get in touch with her, but the bottom line was that we have to have tonight we should just approve having a walkthrough with Chris and have that open to the public, so that if anyone, like, if there's any kind of question about how we're doing it, and, because I've heard rumors about that we're doing this all on the down low, it will give, Chris would like to walk a group of us, and then whoever from the town wants to come through and go through the walk, so that he says, this is where we wanna put things, and then there's a discussion about it.
When you say the walk, you mean go to?
Yeah, actually go to the field and do a walkthrough.
Schedule it and walk
Yeah,
through it.
yeah,
This is what
yeah.
the vision is.
Yeah.
Here's where
Yeah.
artwork would be.
Yeah.
Here's where the walking
Path would be.
path would
Yeah.
be.
Which I think is a great idea.
To
Mhm.
basically put to the ground, if you will,
Yep,
the plan that he's proposed.
yep.
And then it opens it up if any community member wants to go see the idea.
Two things, I haven't been able to reach him because there was a couple of things that I wanted to have him address before we get too far down the road. My concern is, some of the stuff isn't on the plan, like we've asked that they be put on a plan that have been, actually, one of them was the impetus to a large number of people in town voting for the environmental resource area. The path that connects to the Triton complex, that's not even included, and that's an important feature because the idea back then was a river-to-river pathway from Central Street through properties of Triton and even going down to Govs and reconnecting with the water there. So the initial part is not here. Along those lines, can we use the line paint that they use on the fields to mark out where some of these things are, such as the playground? So when you say, oh, here's the playground, well, it's really easy to say this is the space, but when you give the footprint of it and you can see pretty closely to where it's going to lie, you get a better sense of how close it is to things. Does that make sense?
Sure. I don't know how to do that. We did that with the basketball court. We were able to, that was fun, marking that out.
Yeah.
But we did it. I don't know, I'd have to look at the drawings again and try to figure out where it is.
Way to get the cool GPS line maker that Saka was using.
Yeah.
That little robot man out
The
there.
little robot man. It was out there, straight as an arrow,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
That
That was cool.
I'm sure they have that for the site management.
I mean, I think that's great to have the master plan. I know we have an element that we've discussed about the playground.
Yep,
Is-
and that's part of it.
So, is it separate or is it part of it? Can we do one without the other?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So,
About moving along with the playground, correct?
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
basically, we have, I mean, I
I-
keep going back to it, we have a plan.
Yep, I
It may
think
not be
Tracy,
perfect,
Yep.
but we have a plan. We basically know where it should kind of go, exactly where it's going to be. We don't, obviously, because like we
Yeah.
just were talking about. But I mean, we've looked at other pictures
Yeah.
from other places. We have it in figure L3.
the only thing that I would suggest if we could do, and do it within this period of time, like before the next meeting, is actually do a walkthrough, like approve for us to meet with him and do a walkthrough and then involve the town with it. Cause then that will, let's say that, which is gonna come up, cause we've heard it a couple times about Triton lacrosse saying it's too close to the lacrosse field. He can address that because that's what he does for a living. And he would say, yes, this would fit in here, and if there's any concerns, if it did, we'll put it.
Originally, when we were talking about this, we had said, put it over by the sledding thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's the worst reason because of X, Y, Z.
Yep, yep,
So, you know, other people may look at this and say, oh, it should be over here, regardless of what the architect, design, or whatever, I'm gonna call him the knowledgeable person,
yep.
that designs these things all the time. So,
I think it's, I think that it may come down to that, and I think that I would sort of reason it with like, and from my own experience, like as a carpenter, you know, someone says, oh, I wanna put a bathroom here, and you look and you say, you really can't, because it's a slab underneath there, and we can't get the piping underneath there, so the only way to really do it is over here, and I think
Right.
that that's what his expertise is, but,
and I agree with.
yeah, and I
that
think
statement.
that we're gonna, I think that if we have the discussion, if we meet with him, and it may delay us a month on
Which
getting the,
brings us to December.
yeah,
So-
when is it supposed to be like, I wrote this down.
So
but-
we're October,
Yeah,
our next meeting's November.
November,
And if something occurs, that's December.
Yep.
We're into 24 pretty much, so.
and we have to have it, approved by the end of 24, is that what it is?
I think it's not the end of 24, I don't know exactly.
I've been told 5 times by both everybody, and I just,
Does anyone remember?
I remembered being surprised that it was December of '24. But
yeah, I thought it was,
I think it has to be spent by December '24.
or appropriated,
Right,
Yeah, and again, words mean,
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Cause I think the funds would be appropriated, and then we have to come up with the rest, from what I understood.
right. Because there's still bids, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
So there's
The whole
a
procurement
whole
process is something
process,
else, yeah.
right?
yep,
So,
you could take a look like Buddy the Elf going down the little slide. He'll be 16, they'll drive to the tide court.
Hopefully not.
So I guess that's the question. How do you guys feel about approving a meeting? And it can be just flexible right now, saying that, you know, we get together with Chris when he's available, when we're available, we set up a time, let, you know, put it on the town email site saying, hey, we're gonna do a walkthrough on this date, and then that's taken care of on that end, and then he said that's what he really wants to do before he bills out the town. And Mark, you can still, like, I talked to him and he can add on things now, cause I think we've been through a couple.
Two different things. One is, I do get worried when we say we can add stuff on, but then people end up saying, well, this is your plan, this is what you approved, you can't keep adding stuff. But I know we need to be flexible with that. On the other hand, something gets put on there, people are gonna expect it to be billed. And it may not, and it may be way down on the list.
Yeah, and I
But it
think
would
we
prevent-
said that, yeah.
But it may prevent us from installing something similar in another location. Why are you building it over at Pearson Playground? Why aren't you building it here where you said you're gonna build it? So the idea, I'm of two minds of it. I just wanna put it out there that the beauty of having a plan is that we have something to work from and go forward. But I don't want to have it used against us if we were trying to continue our work. You know, again, you have property 5 acres behind us, that people would say, you didn't finish your master plan here, why are you using property over there?
And that's fine, they're gonna say that anyways, right?
Well, if you don't put stuff on.
But then we never get anything moving
Well-
forward, so you have to, with a plan, we have a plan for this location.
Yeah,
Good, bad, or indifferent, it's a plan. It's
Yeah.
something that is tangible, you can look at it and you can row to it. Whether or not it's a phased approach or bing bang and you do everything all at once, which of course we're not going to do, but you at least have a plan. If things move or shift, you have a
I
plan.
understand, I understand that.
So,
I just don't know if
but I
people are
appreciate
hearing
the
my
cautionary
concern.
trail.
We have other areas that we have jurisdiction over, perhaps even more, that we are not utilizing. What we're doing is in fact trying to put all these thoughts and plans in one spot that makes it congested without, it's not a master plan for Recreation Committee, it's a master plan for Central Street.
Correct.
And from a business perspective, and from my experience, is each department can't have its own mission statement unless it goes back to what the overall agency is. That you can't have a master plan for this, which is not consistent with the master plan for the town itself. There's a Maristroika, I believe it's called, Nesting Dolls, that the plan for Central Street should fit into our overall plan. Now, in theory, that plan should fit into the overall plan of the town.
So are you suggesting that we now look to Kent Way and get a plan for that?
I think
And the
that should be
locations?
part of our conversation, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's some of these items could be placed there. And we don't need to, some of them can't. I mean, we can't move the trail that goes from the Parker River to Govs there, but there are other items that could be placed there, that's all. Or other items that couldn't make it to this list, like the community garden. Is there?
So are we saying that we want Huntress to now build another plan? I'm just trying to understand.
I think there should be a plan for the town overall. What our recreation needs are and what we can do, whether it's programming, whether it's utilization of space,
Right.
like Olga Way out on Plum Island. Would there be a benefit for that? I don't know. But we can't say, we're focusing everything on this one piece of property. We should be looking as a town of Newbury Recreation Committee at the town and not just Central Street.
yeah, but I think that the idea for this master plan was the master plan on Central Street Fields. And I understand what you're saying about, but I think that if we take this plans and all of the pieces that he has on it, we've already said that this is a wish list. And let's say that part of that wish list gets moved over to Kent Way when we have the ability and resources to open that up, then I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't think we're locked into that, right?
Nor do I. I think Mark was being very cautionary that,
No,
sometimes if you put something down that this is for this location, it's Bible, it's North, this is.
Yeah,
the
and I
road.
think that
I
he's
do
got,
not agree with that. I think that
Yeah.
it's an idea. Unless you have that plan,
You can't keep it being in thin air. We have to have something.
you
concrete.
need something to road to,
I
because if
agree.
you don't,
and I think that he's right as far as.
like we're talking about Kent Way, and we've been talking about Kent Way for a while. I've never seen anything like this for Kent Way, that's all.
Yeah,
I have one for you.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Bring it next time.
and so the good thing about that is that maybe it's the start and beginning of us becoming more of an umbrella over town than being stuck at Central Street.
And that's very possible too, but I think we all need to agree, we have a plan for Central Street, whether or not every element gets accomplished.
Yep.
And I think our short-term goal is to
We have a
create a
Yeah,
playground
yeah, and
at this location.
yeah, and it may, let's
I
just
just
say,
wanted to make certain
Yeah,
that at
it-
least
Yeah.
amongst us, we're in the same ballpark.
Yep.
And sometimes I maybe state the obvious, but sometimes I get confused,
No,
so
no,
that's
no.
why I say it out loud.
No,
So we're rowing to
Agreed.
something here,
Agreed.
okay, which is Central Street.
alright, so I make a motion to, in the next month to 6 weeks, meet with Chris Huntress and the community to do a walkthrough at the Central Street Fields to go over the master plan and location of some of the parts of that. Conditional on Mark to having a discussion with him and continuing the trail from
Central Street.
Central
to
Street to
To
the,
Triton.
yeah,
Triton
yeah.
Complex.
Does that sound reasonable?
Does-
Is this considered a public meeting? So we have to have notice of it, because if there's more than 4 of us together discussing.
Yeah, I would think that,
So I have to post it
Yeah,
Yeah.
beforehand, so it's not a, hey, whenever we have time, it's gonna be a
Right.
set
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
date, and this is
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
Well, it
That's-
sounds
that's-
like once when Chris says these are the times and dates I can do. then
yeah, that's
go
what
back
he's, yeah, and then we go
solidify.
back and then you, it's just like regular meeting, we'll
I will
we'll
second
post it.
that,
and that would be in addition to our standard meeting.
our
Yeah.
monthly meeting, yes.
Just wanted
Um,
to throw that out.
and then if we go to that, then we don't have to go through our regular monthly
Oh,
meeting.
yeah, go the regular. Nice try.
Any discussion on that?
No, thanks, great.
How does it then, how will it then get put out to, excuse me, the community?
There is, I think there's a Byfield, Facebook site, and I think the town has something going on.
But wouldn't you post it?
Yeah,
Wasn't it
post
you?
it,
That's
post
just
it,
a public-
but I think
Yeah,
that I
well,
Right, as
also,
a public meeting,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you wanted more outreach, there could be,
Yeah.
we could ask the town.
There's like a
The
good-
town has a webpage that they can announce
Yeah,
it on.
okay.
and-
yeah, Nice People of Newbury is one of the sites that, it's non-political and put it out there.
Another way is to just, newspaper would put something out.
Yep.
If-
Yeah, as long as we get it out there and people know
But the
that.
the posting is the public meeting aspect of it, the rest is additional outreach.
And, yeah, that's, that was good.
Assuming it's a weekend?
Yeah,
I-
I mean, it doesn't
It
have to
may
be.
not be,
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
but-
may not be. It depends upon when Huntress is available, right?
Right.
Yep.
So,
Also, I would caution that days are getting
Darker.
Shorter, yep, yep, the flashlight, so weekends might be, yeah. All right, I will, all right, so let's vote on this. We've had a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's done deal.
So David, will you contact Chris? for
Yes.
the- Okay.
And I'm gonna wait 4 days, and I'll contact, or I'll contact and say, yes, it's been approved, but under the conditions you talked to him, and I think he wanted to have a conversation with you about, the walkway going to that little island or something like that, this step.
Okay.
Cause he asked me about it, and I said, Mark is the person that's been dealing with that.
Is that the
That's on the boat ramp
current,
side, right?
Yeah,
But
is that the bridge, that's the metal slab, like through the marsh to
Yes.
connect to Triton, is that what you're talking about?
That's the one.
That's the main one, there's also another one to the uplands behind the fields that has been removed. The,
Is that like the Boy Scouts had that one there?
Yeah.
yes,
That was at the end, that's at the bottom of the
Yeah,
yeah.
hill where
Yeah.
like the lights are kept, okay.
Yeah.
good place to walk dogs. Okay, new business. Family night ping pong.
yes, with the nights getting longer and school vacation coming up and the weather turning and racquetball is gonna be coming to a close.
Pickleball.
Pickleball, I'm sorry, pickleball, slap me.
I was just gonna.
Maddie, you didn't hear about the racquetball court that was put in? That's
Wait a
what we
minute, I
need
missed
to-
that.
The
More
idea
funding.
is to perhaps make an acquisition of 2 or 3 ping pong tables and supplies, open up the field house so that people can use, families and adults can use ping pong during the day. That is currently open, coordinates with that during the same time as yoga during the day, and then maybe looking for volunteers to help staff it in the evening, like a Friday night, family night, for ping pong, not a drop-in where you dump your kids and go, but a family night where there's supervising community member adults to kind of keep an eye on it. And it could be any combination to get it started. But we have a building that's being heated anyways.
Yep.
Right now it's up to like 2 or 3 days a week that it's being heated. So we might as well, in my opinion, continue to utilize that space. And if we only start with it during the day, that's great. If we can we know different people, they can supervise it, and we can do outreach to families and say, look, if you want to help supervise during school vacation on a Tuesday, well, we can have it available.
Right. Would they reserve it through my rec, I would think, right?
Or we could just have it as a drop.
Yeah,
I say drop in,
yeah.
but we have it open from arbitrarily
Between this hour and that hour.
that hour on a Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Whoever comes by, go ahead and play.
Gotcha.
In the evening, Tuesday evenings,
Between this and this.
I could sit there, anybody can come in and play with an adult and see if we get any takers.
So we'd have to purchase and pay for the
We get the supplies,
tables
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, we get tables, now will 2 tables fit in that?
So I did not get a chance to get over there and measure, because the Council on Aging is very interested in this.
Yeah.
If you guys go forward with this is kind of like, we would want to reserve time.
Yep,
and
yep,
use
yep.
the,
Yep.
Because
it's a
that would
great
be
idea.
in lieu of pickleball.
Right.
So the other question for you is,
But I do need to, just to answer your measurement question, I would have to go over there.
Yeah.
There was a couple of, a table that I saw, so it folds up, it's on wheels, it's
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
to move
yeah.
out of the way.
yeah, I think they all do that.
How much are those approximately?
Probably $1,000 each.
$350, well, these ones were $350. This was just something,
That one, not these ones.
Use
sorry, well, I was
gas.
saying
It's
two,
okay.
so these.
These!
This
Come on.
one would be, I just found one on Dix.com for
Okay.
$350.
Yeah, I see one in Ocean State Shellback for 400.
So, but what I was attracted
Yeah, I have
to
no
was the
idea
fact
what
that
they-
it folds and is on wheels, and because it has
Yes.
to go into that, here's the other thing, it has to go into that concession area
Yep, yeah.
for storage. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if
what I
that's
was
gonna impede on some of those folks that are trying to use that area.
Well,
Because we already have a deck box in there with pickleball equipment.
Can you say
And
the
now we're going to put-
concession, the kitchen area? What's-
So,
They roll out, so,
right.
That's not the question. The question is, when you say they have to be stored there, they can't be stored where the sign is? up
So I have a stretch class and I have a yoga class. And like the yoga class specifically has usually now 10 to 12 students in it. They're,
Yeah, we're busting it, yeah. It's
yeah.
used
So to
a lot
have
for a
2
lot.
tables even folded up on the side,
Yeah,
it takes
no,
up a
this
space.
would work, and I haven't taken a tape measure to it, but to me, you clearly get 2 tables.
So maybe we can do that tomorrow before we set up next?
Yeah, no, and I got my little handy dandy.
Okay.
I did send Cindy a
did too.
video of guys playing like 30 yards from the table, and I said, we need a bigger building.
yeah.
Higher, yeah.
But there's that little L in the
This is not
back,
Forrest Gump.
that,
It's
yeah,
just exactly the
that
visual.
you could probably get another one in there, but
You think 2?
maybe one in the little L too, but it really, I don't know.
We have to measure.
I
just
think
don't know.
looking at the building, that I think there's easy space for 2. The only thing I was thinking about was, like you were saying, storage. And is it possible, if you had to do, let's say that you could fit those 2 inside there, if you're doing concessions of the weekend,
You just
it
roll them
should be
out.
fairly
You just
easy
roll
just
them
to
out.
roll them out, right? And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move them out of the way.
As long as they don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think if there was a place to store it, now you still got something at the school, right? Like, could we move
But then
them
you'd have to transport them if somebody wanted to use it.
twice a year? Like, in November, when soccer shuts down and lacrosse shuts down,
No, we
the
can,
ping pong tables come out.
Oh,
we can just
definitely.
move downstairs of the building.
Yeah,
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
That's it.
really, last time I was
Don't
underneath
say that to
that.
Cindy, though. She gets very angry.
I don't think you could play under there, but you could store
Actually,
under.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it should be storage time.
Yes.
And you could move it outside in really nice weather. and-
Well, they do, well, they do, they make those, a lot of those tables are made indoor, outdoor, so, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yes, I'm sure two would work, and the other thing I don't understand is can 4 people play? And I've got different answers from the people who play a lot of ping pong.
Oh, for doubles.
Play doubles.
Can you play doubles? And one variation was one person's at the table and then steps back and the other one steps in and hit the next shot, that's Fred's.
I think you probably have to have
That's
a righty and a lefty
Well,
to doubles.
Well, so again, back to that is, we're gonna, if we fill up that room with 2 tables, and I'm not being negative, I'm all for this, it's just like,
How much
there's
space?
gonna be a lot of people standing around. You know, we get 20, what we had the other day, 18 at pickleball. If all those people showed up for, it can't be the same, you know, because that's 4 people, we get 12 people playing at a time, if 20 show up, there's 8 people
And
sitting.
we're looking to start this in like January, so they're
Well,
not
no,
standing
yeah,
outside waiting, you know.
it's, I don't know what the aspiration is, you know, like
Yeah.
if the 2 courts are sitting there when we open up on Friday night, that's great. You know, things that I would consider, like if you just talk to the guys that clean the place, you know, because we're around. And the kids, I don't say kids, I really sound like an old guy. The youths were, you know, like there were girls in the ladies' room the other day eating pizza. And he was just like, I don't get it, you know, and it's, but it was like the kids were in there after school, so if there's ping pong tables, maybe the kids go in there after school.
Right.
And that's okay by me, but we don't have an employee sitting there
Supervising.
supervising.
Yeah, and the other thing is that if
So
we
it's
do
almost
this,
like maybe we need to lock the ping pong tables.
we just don't have, paddles and balls available. They can lock those in the, concept.
In the
Yeah,
deck box.
Yeah, and so then I mean,
The
there's,
table's there, but you can't do anything.
yeah, and if they wanna bring their own paddles and ping pong balls, feel free, but, you know,
It's like bringing your own net pickleball.
yeah. So, I don't know, that's my feeling, I'm all for ping pong.
Okay.
Well, then my suggestion would be two steps. One, let's measure.
Yeah,
And-
I'll send an email out tomorrow afternoon.
I'd love to be there and then to.
That's kind of a schematic on how much room you need. Forrest Gump.
And maybe we
Crazy
take a
look
couple of months with,
I don't have my
with
glasses.
what days would you be there?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays as a way to get a gauge of space, because it may
And
end up
interest.
being, you know, families, you don't have a ping pong table at your house. We have it, and we end up having to be a MyRec. You reserve it and you get use of it, you know, at no cost, because it's, you know, as opposed to charging, you could, you know, consider that, so that it's available to everybody.
Yeah, I think it should be available to everybody.
So I would think that
Like
if
the
we
basketball
were
court.
to encumber, you know, $1,500 to get up to 2 tables and paddles and balls, plenty of money. You know, if it's 3, yeah, even $1,000, it's not a lot of
I'd say
investment.
15 is something that we should probably stay with, or give, because it seems like we say, if we appropriate 15, we only use 1,000, which is probably what we'll end up doing, at least if something happens, we're covered.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd like to round up slightly, so I'm good with that.
15, and get one, see how it fits, reposition it, then get the second one before.
I was gonna say, see the measurements of it folded, especially if you have to leave the room to go into another room,
Yeah.
it fits with the doorway.
That's the-
Yeah, they do. I have one at home that does that roll-up thing, and I have a very tight location, it fits really nice. So they do, the general is like.
Yeah, and so when a purchase is made, absolutely, just confirm, because they are different designs, and some
And-
may fold it this way, and it's.
Yeah, they fold like that, but if there's a
Yeah.
problem, I'll just bring a sawzall.
I also think you're gonna be the ringer for the rec department ping pong tournament.
I knew.
You know in
Never
pickleball who
was-
plays ping pong too.
Oh, is
They
that?
spin like crazy.
That's my thing, that's my thing.
So yeah, that's my proposal,
Say it again.
that we encumber
15.
1,500 to begin the process of acquiring ping pong tables for the recreation committee, with the understanding that the Council of Aging's program would have access to it at the field house. And get up to 2 tables for now, extra paddles, lots of extra balls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good idea, good plan, that was good, I like that. You guys are great. We get stuff done, we have fun doing it,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
These are good programs.
Are we doing beer night? I guess we're doing beer night, so.
You have to go to the select board for a
Yeah.
liquor
yeah,
license.
Get the truck, get the truck,
I was thinking the same thing.
Hey, beer pong.
Yeah, I was like,
Board of Health involved, with
Oh my God.
insurance, you know.
red solo cups.
All right, so I don't know.
Can I
what-
just ask before we move on?
Yes.
Do you want me to purchase this and then,
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that. So I'm thinking that, are you gonna do one table first, is that the idea?
is that what you would like me to do?
Let's just get one, get it in.
So,
Is it-
just to kind of go through, like, I mean, I have an account with the town, with Amazon, I can
Yeah.
order things that are okay.
Yep,
I happen to find these ones at Dick's.
Yeah.
yep,
I can,
These. These ones.
this one at Dick's. I can purchase it
Yep.
on my credit card and
Yep.
then do a reimbursement if you're good with that.
Yeah.
yeah, and so I think what I would do, if I was you,
Mhm. If
and
you
get, if I,
That's
These.
what
Were
I
you?
was. Let's ask mine.
if I were you,
If I was you.
I was you.
Anyways, keep going.
Now I'm really confused. I would go with, 6 paddles?
No,
Aren't they different sizes?
yeah, that's,
No.
No?
Are we doing doubles, so when you need 8?
you need.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, I don't know if you
think
can do doubles. I don't know if there's such thing as
I think
doubles.
we should do 8.
Oh,
Do we
You
get
should
hand
do it to
begin
sanitizer
with.
too thrown in?
You should,
some wipes.
you should do 8.
All right, so let's say we do 8 paddles and one of those big giant jugs of,
Like a bucket of balls.
Pong
yeah,
balls.
of ping pong balls.
Do we need another?
Do we need to motion that, or can
No,
we
'cause
just?
it's part of
shoot it?
1,500.
So I know my cap's 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my suggestion is, I would, since this is, and this is approved, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
With the pickleball people, the field house is already open?
I open it when I go in the morning to set up.
Because we could actually just start, I want to use the word beta testing, because it's not the right word.
Gauge
but-
interest.
Oh, they already
We-
told me.
Well, just have it available during that time and get feedback about the size of the room
Mhm.
and ceiling height, all that stuff, so that, if there's complications, we know beforehand.
It's all part of the game. If there's a ceiling that bounces off it, it's a great.
I'll tell
It's
you
like the
sure about-
wind outside with pickleball. It's all part of the challenge.
Use the wall.
They're up there.
Yeah.
They're still on Amazon, they're a little more expensive.
Yeah.
I just don't know the quality and what to look for.
So I was kind of
Use your
thinking
best
at Dick's, I might be able to go there and
Yeah,
look
and you'll
at
be
Yeah,
able
so
to
I-
see it.
I just,
Oh.
I
Set
think
it up.
I think the fact is that the cheaper ones are made with that MDF material, and they weigh about 8 billion pounds, and that's why they're cheaper, and I think the real expensive ones are a little bit lighter weight and maybe a different surface thing, but I think the cheap ones are
It's
fine.
fine,
Yeah, they're big fun tables.
right. Maybe they shouldn't be sitting on them.
Yeah.
One would hope not.
Now, can we bring our own towels? I'm just wondering.
You can. Are you gonna bring like the $250
Do you have a
paddle?
little like bag that you throw over your shoulder?
You have a bag for your pickleball stuff.
Oh,
A
that's
story
something
about
there.
how I got schooled by someone in college with ping pong. She showed up, not ping pong, badminton. This woman showed up with a bag and thing. She, because the school had them. And she killed me.
obviously perfected.
Yeah, well, I get it.
I was just gonna say, he's still.
Scarred.
He's still scarred about it, still carrying it with him.
Never again. They show up with a bag, I could go. Bathroom availability during field times, court and field house is not reserved. I don't understand that, but,
Basically, right now, the field house bathrooms are open from 3 o'clock to about 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And the idea was to, that's when we open it.
Yep.
The Council on Aging and the, both your
Who
programs.
opens it? You open it?
No, the DPW
Oh.
has it set up automatically to unlock. The idea is people are starting to be attracted to this area. And the question is, do we want to open it up throughout the day or extend the hours? For people who are just going for a walk, be able to say, hey, go in,
So it's
utilize.
basically open after school.
Correct. For, the design was when the youth teams were playing to have that available.
There's an interior door that's locked as well, so there's,
You can just access
you can
the
just
bathroom.
access the bathrooms.
And not the ping pong.
yeah, I don't know. My own personal opinion is with the field house and those soccer players, at least there's some kind of,
Parental.
yeah, there's some kind of guard, and then you guys probably do it, and you guys are in charge, right?
So when I open it,
Yep,
first thing in the morning, it's unlocked
yep,
for pickleball people, or I go well before yoga or our
Yep.
stretch class.
yep,
But then those instructors close it when they leave,
Yep.
and everything's locked up. I will tell you from experience, because I'm there every day, Monday through Thursday, people are there very early in the morning walking their dogs. It would be a convenience for them to be able to access the restroom. And that's adults that are walking their dogs.
yeah,
You know?
it's just a question of who's going in there. Well, I'll go
Or do you
with,
have it open just for like a couple of hours in the morning? DPW could do
Isn't there a
something.
sign that says it's like a video surveillance?
Yes.
Is it very?
Is it?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
no, I think it's
I mean, maybe they've done something, I don't know.
no.
Um,
No.
I don't know.
don't know,
No, sometimes there's signs without.
Yeah.
you never know what they
No
put in there.
dogs in the playing field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, sorry, guilty.
Yeah, I mean, so what are you proposing? Are you proposing the whole day, or, are you gonna be there to monitor? I guess that's the question.
Only if there's a pickle. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question. So it would be on monitor. Now, the good news is most of the students would be
Right.
at school, hopefully.
Yeah,
Or you can do it like 7 to 10 or something like that, so that you get those early morning
So
dog
is the goal
walkers.
to open it in the morning? Is that what I'm hearing? Is the goal to open it at 7 till 7? Is the goal?
I wouldn't say,
I think Cindy's there in the morning, so she sees it, but I think at 10 o'clock,
there's probably no one there.
there's very few people at the park, but there's certain dog groups, and if they knew the door was open, I mean, there's people always ask.
Mhm.
use
That's what I mean, like, are we,
I will say if we use, if when we put a playground in there and more families do
That's
it
fine.
during
That's
the
actually
morning
true,
hours,
yeah, it's
Game
happening.
changer.
it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be more utilized between
I'd
8 and.
I'd go one more too, that I'll make a comment, that, to me, the youth groups should take one swing through there before they go home. I mean, make sure there's no kid in there, but it's atrocious in the morning.
It's a hot mess.
Yeah, it's a
Even
hot-
though those scrapers are there now
Yeah.
for
The
cleats.
kids are using it, but it's just, it's grass.
But the
everywhere.
grass is wet, it's
Yeah.
been mowed, you can't help it, it's
Yeah.
cleats attract.
It's no one's fault, but it's
you know,
like,
but
but
it's-
if we had a broom there is a broom there, and it just, I don't know, not that the town employees,
Well, it does seem to get put on them.
so I
Yeah.
guess maybe if we do this, it might be sort of a test
I was
for
gonna say, good like beta test,
what's
to
gonna happen.
see.
Yeah, it's gonna be a test for what's gonna happen down at Plum Island. You know, I don't know if Plum Island's gonna have someone, you
that
know,
came up with the town employees the other day. I said, I was just talking to them about, it, what can we do? Because the cleat thing isn't working, and I was thinking like, as you go to a ski lodge, you go on a like metal
Yeah.
grate, and the
Yeah.
stuff falls down,
Yeah.
something like that,
it's doable.
yeah. And, well, I
Well,
mean,
what did they say? What was the response?
I'm sure they'd rather have it closed, cause it's,
Right.
you know, it's, they were smearing stuff on the, you know, it's just, you're gonna hear horror stories.
Yes, there's always gonna be the individual or
There's gonna be one
individuals
person that does
that will
Yeah.
do stuff like that. Not having it will certainly prevent it from ever happening. That's
Mm-hmm.
a way to, one way to address the behavior, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
But,
But at the other
But it's a
end,
nice
you have
convenience
people
for other
who
people.
who are trying to
Yeah.
utilize it, particularly, you know, as we get down the road and more people are utilizing the field. It's sort of like the outhouses up at Maudsley, they're available.
Yeah,
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
you,
someone cleans.
I mean, the town pays for them, right? It's a
Yeah,
nice,
state.
convenient to have, so.
and it's a community building, so
Right.
I guess in that aspect.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
if it
I've been
goes
walking
to-
there and I think I emailed you
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something, I was like, what's the
the
code?
code?
Yeah, I think I went to you. Yeah, sorry, she was delayed because she was doing
It was
something.
like
so-
4 days later,
Yeah,
you
so
still
I
have the
got,
code?
yeah.
Don't say it, don't
You
say
think
it.
I'm good now?
But you're all set, and I think I have it somewhere, yeah,
I think give it a try.
Yeah.
I mean, if it turns out it's a nightmare, then we,
yeah, change it.
Is it fair, I mean, no, it's probably not fair because the hours change, but like, no, I was thinking like daylight hours, but.
Yeah, 9 to 5, what is
I'm
soccer
telling you,
at?
I get there at quarter of 8 and there's already people there.
So-
So I'd almost say like 7 AM.
So-
Is
so
is
who
it
would
really
o-
on a
like, who
timer?
would-
Do we know that?
I don't know how DPW does that.
Yeah.
My
Used to be,
understanding,
I don't,
Yeah,
my
okay.
What,
understanding, it is, and the question is, can it have it should be able to be programmed to have multiple times in which it opens and
Yep.
closes. And just for everybody's edification, if you're inside the building after it's been closed, you're able to exit the building,
Can't
and
go
when the
back.
door closes, it will relock.
Yeah.
So it's, we don't have to worry about kids being left behind, and that's up to the coaches to, good coaching practice is you watch every kid get into the appropriate vehicle and go. I
So-
think your idea of having somebody come in and literally sweep it out, that's a hard thing to enforce, because it's gonna be, well, my group did it, or, you know, I left early, it was somebody
She said,
else.
But I mean, it's the same thing as, you know, another waste there is the fact that that concession stand doesn't get used. I mean, that's a nice room. But to me, what do you enforce? It's like, well, there should be like $100 deposit, you know, and that just makes sure that you left it the
No.
way you found it.
It's common courtesy, you shouldn't even have to have a deposit.
And
Common
there's lots
courtesy.
of laws written to make sure people are commonly
Follow.
courteous, you know, it's just, and that would be my concern, because that's, I look at, that doesn't look like there's been a dirty dish in that sink ever. I mean,
No.
No.
full sink, yeah.
It's a nice night.
Yeah.
So we're thinking doors on the timer from like 7 AM to 6 PM, 7 AM
No.
to?
You said 9, 8, what time
No,
is
she
soccer?
said, she said people are there at 8.
People are there early.
We're not, I
So-
said 7 AM,
Okay.
but no before 7, I think.
Oh, it wouldn't be, say before 7.
Yeah.
7 AM to 6
I
PM?
think she's volunteering.
Well,
No, we need Mark's input on this. What time does the soccer usually?
Right now, the soccer's at 8.
So
No.
7 to 8.
7 to 8.
7 to 8.
Does that sound appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone?
I second that. 7 AM to 8 PM?
Um,
Monday through Friday?
so,
Yes, because on the weekends, it should be
Open.
open that time anyways.
Yep.
So we
Okay.
just,
so is this a motion or is this something someone just gets in contact? Or how do you think we should?
Well, the comment earlier was it's our building, or it's under our jurisdiction.
yeah.
I think it's a motion.
That's
So
the
I'll make a motion, we'll make it legit. So I make a motion to instruct the DPW to open the bathrooms from, if, under their approval, from 7 AM until 8 PM, Monday through Friday.
And can we, as members, just do periodic checks whenever we can and see, and get status reports, and see how it's working, interview people? Not necessarily when they're coming out, but.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And maybe the other thing is, well, all right, so do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
And discussion. One thing we might want to do is maybe talk to our 3 or 2 user groups and have maybe an adult at the end of the night, just to make sure that they,
At least, not necessarily hold them to it, but just say,
it would be nice if
Bring it
one-
to their attention that we're
Right.
concerned about the conditions of the bathrooms
Right.
at the conclusion of their day of practice, and further abuse of it could result in
Closing.
less
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
But it'd probably be wise to have a broom out for them to use, so they could sweep
Yeah.
that.
Do kids know how to use a broom?
Oh, my 2-year-old
Kids do.
loves the broom.
There's a story about that too.
I'm also a crazy cleaning person.
Get an eyebrow.
So we got a second on that, right? Second on the motion?
Yeah, I
Yes.
did.
All approved?
I,
All right, let's do it. Spending plan.
Actually, spending time is part of the other one about the line item, which we talked about the other day. I would like permission to approach the town administrator to see if we can't get a separate line item for our programming and other non-81 Central Street or Kentway properties.
Okay.
Programming. Funding could come from two streams. We could ask for an additional appropriation, or we can start using, see if it's available that the monies that we are collecting for the rental fees could be used for programming.
Okay.
Work with,
I thought we approved that
we
last
did
time.
that last
well,
time.
yes. I'm sort of asking for permission to go that one step, so it's that, talk to the administrator, come back here, go back to the because it's time sensitive. And I have a proposal out there for hiring somebody. We looked at it 3 years ago, a couple of kids to do some work. It was originally with the library, but the idea was to maybe look at summer programming
Do
specifically.
you have that? Can you email that to us?
I can show you the old one, but I don't want to spend 15 hours of work without getting permission to push it forward.
Yeah,
I
I
keep
thought we
coming.
said that
We-
last
we-
meeting, sorry.
We did, but I want to be able to negotiate with the town administrator. So the stream of funding, if it can't come from our own funds, can we get an appropriation from the town like we do for our other budget? Right now, we spend about 70% of our $50,000, and we have like $10,000, or more than $15,000 a year that is not utilized. So we're already getting appropriated $50,000, we're spending about 35.
Right.
So can we use that money? But we can't use it as it currently stands. It's a matter of
Yep.
being
Because we have to have the line, so.
a separate line item.
Yep.
So I want to be able to go to her with your permission and figure out what exactly needs to happen.
You might have to go get a town meeting too, who knows? Okay. So Mark, put the proposal, because
Yeah.
you know what you want to sell, and then we'll second it.
To work with the town administrator to take the necessary steps to create an additional line item to fund programming and other activities and equipment not used at the Kentway or Central Street properties.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, done.
Okay, and the spending plan will be more part of that.
Yep. Okay. I don't think we have to go over discretionary spending at this point.
No.
Let's table.
Did we want to talk, we talked about the water bubbler? I don't know.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
Sorry.
right.
Just trying to keep you honest.
I was wondering about that too.
I put in calls and I have not heard back.
We saw, did you send that? Somebody sent something over.
John?
Oh, I did, yeah, that went on, you could buy them on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were $3,000,
Yeah.
I was shocked, I mean,
Yeah.
just.
I looked at one because we're hoping to buy some for school, and I looked at, there was like a water bottle fill up. It was from like EK or whatever the
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
it,
yeah, it's-
plastic
yeah,
brand. It was like 1,200.
Yeah,
on
yeah, I've seen
Amazon.
them, I've seen them.
You have to look to see if they are
But if it's
coolered, if
right,
they
Filtered,
chill
it
the
needs to be
water, and if
changed,
they're
yeah.
filtered.
right.
And the filters are the expensive aspect to it. I did send pictures out from Leslie's recommendation about the outdoor one with the dogs. That's interesting, I don't know if we want to go in that route, but it's out there. I mean, the step now is to how much would the whole package cost? And once we know that, then we can move it forward. I don't know
So
how
when
much
you state the whole package, you're talking installation as well?
Installation.
Yeah.
I just
So
wanna.
to me, the one with the dog access would go outside?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it would be a seasonal thing too.
Right, but I was thinking like water fill up inside where the current water fountain is, or
Yes.
we're talking about two different things.
we're talking two different things. So there's one inside, there's
Right.
something inside that originally we talked about swapping that out.
For water bottle fill.
And then there was the outside one with like a doggy fountain and
I would
outside.
like both of those things.
Why not?
So,
Got 15,000 to play with according to Mark, right?
sorry about ping pong tables.
Cindy's
Well, here, I mean,
No, it's already been approved.
That's
for
right.
100, so
I'm
I just
already
didn't-
shopping.
haven't done anything about the water bottles.
I think you're right about the dog one, yeah.
I think the dog one is great for those who wanna bring their dog up, but we're also having concerns about people bringing dogs onto the field, so it's sort of, you know, unless we had a sign saying, please keep your dogs off the fields,
We let you use this water for your dog, as long as you keep it multi-field.
yeah.
Um,
And most of the owners,
I mean, my dog, I keep her on the perimeter.
yeah,
But wouldn't it be nice for the fill of water?
We
bottle-
have cameras out there,
Yeah.
and we are watching you,
Yeah.
Oh, I know,
we are watching you.
I know. It was me who broke into the field house too,
Hey.
when David didn't.
So I am so sorry about
but
that.
for the next meeting, can we look at that?
Yes, yes, and I will push the plumbing, and I assume it probably needs electric.
Yes.
I know that's a bad assumption, but sometimes those things they have like
Converting the
a,
one
Well,
inside, there should be electricity there.
Yeah, so I think
And
we do
plumbing.
two, right? Or definitely do the one inside. That's the easy one,
I
if
agree,
that makes sense.
yeah,
And then we can talk about the one outside.
yeah. It's a spigot
Yeah.
on the outside of this building, you just go
Yeah.
Green hose, 4 feet long, and that should.
Hey, I grew up with that.
And same here,
That's fine.
same here, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, so I will try to get a plumbing cost and, see if there's some kind of electric that's
Yeah, it's a
associated.
chiller you need to.
Yep. Okay. I think that's it. Next meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
We talked about a water, not a water meter, an electric meter for the
The
lights.
lights. That, everything is tabled on that, they're looking at other alternatives.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, the installation of a separate meter would be more expensive than the amount of electricity being used.
Okay, that's fine,
I
because
think
that
so,
was
yeah.
from last
I
meeting,
remember
so
last
we
meeting,
never,
we
that
did
was
say
not talked.
essentially the ball was in their court.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking at other models, and we can always come up with a per kilowatt rate. And if we can get information about what the town would be charging for the EV chargers that we're acquiring, we could use that same rate,
Yes, I like that idea.
so there's consistency.
Did we already make a decision on the next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
No.
November and December.
November 6th,
Okay,
or no, not November 6th.
November 6th, because the 7th is election day.
We did say November 6th at 6.
What was that again?
November 6th at 6 p.m.
November 6th at 6 and not 6:30?
Yes,
Right.
we got bumped by the cultural council.
And so these were already locked in, right?
The,
Is it locked in?
November
No.
and December, I feel like we.
Have you?
We talked about them, but I don't know if
Okay.
they're
Those are
locked
on the
in.
calendar.
So you've reserved them.
Yeah, I'll do January and going forward.
And December what?
4th.
4th.
The second time you'd be out?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'll be there, but
Well, that's 6.
you guys can do it without me. But we should talk about co-chairperson. So at one point. I think we discussed that once before. So 6 p.m. on the 6th, on December 4th, is that right?
Yeah,
November
and-
6th and December 4th.
6.
At
November
6.
6th
And I'll confirm the time.
and December 4th.
Yeah, exactly, okay. Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:04.
I second that motion. All approved?
I don't know.
Let's kill the camera.